The Smith Wesson M&P 22 Compact. This is a really neat little scaled down version of your standard M&P Compact, whether in 9mm or 40. And here is my compact in 9mm. Done a review on this a while back. It's very similar in controls and in feel, but it's funny because the big difference is the grip. You've got a double stack magazine with the standard compact, and you've got a very slim grip on the compact 22. Now, many would say the shield would fall in line more with the thinness, and it does. But this steel is very reminiscent. It is like an in-between between the shield. It's actually a little bit larger. It's a little bit longer. The grip is actually just a little bit longer as well. And so it's actually even more comfortable to shoot than the shield, which I really like the shield. But the compact is really more in line with what it is. So it's kind of really a hybrid, I'd call it. But one of the things about this pistol is that when you put it in your hand, it just feels really natural. And a lot of the little 22s that have come out on the market feel the same way. Now, the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is drop the magazine. The gun is unloaded. One thing you'll notice right up front is this little thread protector, which, of course, is for a suppressor. This is a Suppressor Ready firearm. The original 22 compacts did not have the extension of the barrel. In fact, you can still find them. I've seen them, a number of them online. But it had a threaded barrel, but you had to buy an adapter. This comes already with the adapter installed, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But it is a 22 long rifle. It holds 10 in this stainless steel, brightly polished magazine. Very nice quality. Now, it's a standard polymer Smith & Wesson frame, but it has an aluminum alloy slide, and that makes it really light, really easy to bring back, and allows for you to function not only standard 22, but 22 subsonic. Even if you don't have a suppressor, this gun is fine to shoot just as is. It does have adjustable sights. Rear is adjustable, and then the front is driftable. So, you know, the sights are 3-dot. They're very nice, and they're raised a little bit, so if you do put a suppressor on here, you'll be able to still see your sights. Has this really nice beaver tail, which is fairly absent. Even though it has a nice little ridge here, it extends out with the 22 over the shield. The accessory rail here on the front, and it is longer, but this will accommodate whatever flashlight or laser you want to put on. The one thing that it does have, and they all come with this, is the frame safety. Now, a lot of the M&Ps and the shield, you can choose to have the safety or not. With this, it just has the safety. You have your slide release or slide stop right here. Then your takedown lever right here that just pulls down. Rounded off trigger guard, which I like. You have your magazine release right here, which it is really easy to deploy. And one good thing is it's somewhat protected, so you don't inadvertently deploy it. Now, the magazine release can be switched to the right side, which is for left-handed shooters, and you have ambidextrous safety. So, you know, it is an ambidextrous pistol. I mean, except for the slide release, it's pretty much all ambidextrous. And guys, I'm telling you, man, it just feels really good. The grip has a really nice texturing in the same way the M&P has, and the shield for that matter. One thing it does have is the magazine disconnect. If the magazine is out of the gun, you're not going to get anything. And really, you don't need to be pulling the trigger that much on a rimfire anyway. It can damage the firing pin. And it also has a frame lock, and this can only be implemented if the gun is on safe. And right here, and you can see the little block that pops up, and then you take your little key, place it in, and then just turn it. And what this does, it actually locks the safety into place. I am not a fan of these type safeties, but you know, they are what they are. If you like them, that's great. Just keep them. I don't like them. There's also the standard trigger safety, which is like on most of your striker fire polymer pistols. You got to actually mean to pull that trigger. So there's a number of different internal safeties on this pistol, which makes it nice because a lot of times inexperienced shooters are going more toward 22, beginners learning. And of course, I've been shooting for 40 years and I still love a good 22. The serrations on the slide are just like the standard Big Brother, has those scallop designs. It is a steel barrel. It's 3.56 inches, just over 3.5 inches. Here the thread protector, really easy to unthread and then to be able to attach your suppressor. And then of course, you know, if you want to protect those threads, you want to keep that on. It is a blowback design. The barrel is fixed inside the frame. And it comes back, and really that tends to give you really good accuracy. It has a metal guide rod and it is captured. It is a fairly lightweight pistol, and the weight with the magazine in is 17.3 ounces. Compare that to the Shield. It comes in at 20.2 ounces. So you are getting more with the steel slide. Now we're going to go ahead and check the trigger pull, even though I'm not really a fan of pulling the trigger on an empty chamber with rimfire. 5 pounds, 8 ounces, that's 5.5 pounds. Again, 5 pounds, 8.5 ounces. 5 pounds, 2 ounces. You know, and these trigger gauges are not precise, but it does give you a good idea. Really, I was getting a lot of under 5.5 pound trigger pulls. One of the things though about it is really smooth. And so we're going to go ahead and check that as well. Much smoother than the standard M&P pistol. The M&P has a little bit of just some resistance right in here, but as you can see on this 22, it is buttery smooth. Nice little crisp break. Reset right there. So it really shoots very well. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera on when I shot, but this group right here at 10 yards, not a bad little group, really clustered in at this area. These sights are pretty large, but they're really easy to see. And speaking of which, easy to see targets, and I was using CCI mini mags. Extremely ergonomic is what I want to say about this pistol. I mean, it just feels so natural. You know, the regular M&P full size is a very ergonomic pistol, but this thin grip, more like the Shield, yet it gives you a little bit of length. So I'll tell you guys, it's just a really comfortable gun to shoot. No malfunctions whatsoever. When we were shooting some subsonic Aguila with our suppressor on there, we were having a few issues here and there. But I attribute that a lot to the ammunition, because really once it got kind of warmed up, we did very well with it. So this is just a really fun gun to shoot. Shooting a lot of CCI mini mags, of course, and they tend to function pistols anyway. But everything that I've read has been that these guns just function. And we're using some of the CCI mini mags, and CCI mini mags are my all-time favorite. I mean, if I could pick, that's what I pick out, because they're just good high velocity. They're 1,235 feet per second, and they just function guns that have any kind of issues. But to be honest with you, we've shot probably about 500 rounds through this pistol, and no malfunctions, except with you know, subsonics. They were Aguila subsonics, and we had a little bit of trouble with that. But that can be expected with the quality of ammunition. But anyway, just want to thank Federal Premium for the CCIs, because these are just excellent. Now, typically I do a demonstration of disassembling the pistol, and the way to do that is like a lot of others. Now, it is a fixed barrel, and so we just bring our slide back, and then right here's your takedown lever that comes forward. Now, the problem is there is an adapter right here for your suppressor that has to be removed. And there is a tool to remove it, and you can see there are little slots on either side. I'll just tell you, there's the tool provided. I'll just show you. And I already kind of understood that, because I've read on the forums, these are really tight. And you can get them off. I've seen tons of it, but most of them are having to booger it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, instead of going through that, I'm going to note that this is very difficult to come off, at least initially. And so I'm going to go and we're going to do a video on getting this off and show you, try to figure out the best way to do it. And before I go through all this process and before I booger this up to do it the wrong way. And this, one of the things about this pistol that I don't really care for is the disassembly being so difficult. And so, you know, we'll see how that goes. There were original models without the adapter, and you know, if you're not going with the suppressor, that would have been probably a better option. Now, if you're carrying M&P pistols, this is an excellent training tool, especially the shield. If you're carrying one of the full-size M&Ps, of course, you might want to go with the full-size 22. That's more like the M&P full-size. The retail price on the 22 Compact is $389 on the Smith & Wesson website. I'll have the link to the Smith & Wesson website below so you can look at all the specs. But I've seen a number of online sources where these come in at about the $318 mark, which I think is fantastic. So, you know, you can check around for your sources. Of course, if you have a local gun shop that you do a lot with, they'll give you a good price on it. So for $300 for a really nice 22 pistol like this, I think it's exceptional, especially with all the training aspects that you can do. Plus, you know, 22, even though it's starting to come back, it's still a lot cheaper than your centerfire ammunition. And plus, they're just a lot of fun. And it is a Smith & Wesson. So I think that if you own a Smith & Wesson M&P, this is a no-brainer. You know, it really goes, even the shield. But, you know, even if you don't, this is really an excellent, fun gun to shoot. Very reliable and just high quality. One of the great things about Smith & Wesson is they have a lifetime guarantee on their pistols. And you can't beat that. All made right here in the USA. The Smith & Wesson M&P 22 Compact, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The serrations, and it would figure I'm out of ammo and then it cools off. Yep, lightning.